All right, so with screen recording going, time to discuss the quiz. Now remember, quizzes are given in a series of 3, and the purpose of the first quiz is to show you what you don't know. I think this quiz did a really good job of that, all right? So let's go through this step by step. And there were 2 quizzes, or 2 questions. I'm going to do number 1 last. For now, I want to do number 2A and B first. So 3 times x minus 4 plus 2x equals 28. Yes?
I want to answer that one.
No. We'll get going here. Now, look, we've talked a lot about how if you don't call the right play, if you don't have the right strategy and the right technique with how to solve each of these problems, then you're not going to be able to get them correct. And what I saw way too often, particularly anybody who got zeros on any one of the questions, is the wrong technique being applied. Now, whenever I see a number outside the parentheses, the first thing I always want to do is distribute. Distribute means to give out. What's 3 times x? 3x. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. On a lot of people's papers, you had a negative 4 here. Take a look at your paper. Did you have a minus 4 here? A lot of you did. I would say 3 or 4, maybe even 5 of you had that. Next, plus 2x equals 28. And now, after you distribute, because we always want to distribute first, Derek, you in the game here? We always ask ourselves, is it same side or is it opposite side? What is it, everybody? Same side. Same side?
Same operation.
Same operation. So do what it says. Combine your like terms. There's a 3x's and positive 2x's. That's 5x minus 12 is 28. Then you're going to add 12 to both sides. Die. 5x is 40. Dividing by 5. X is 8. And that is the correct answer to the first one. Now, hold on. I'm going to pause for 1 second. Take a look at your work and see where you made a mistake. Is there anything I can help you with here? Yes?
How did you get the 5x?
Because the 3x and the 2x are on the same side. Since they're on the same side, you want to do that same operation. 3x's and 2x's make 5x's. Okay? Yes?
I have no idea what this is. Like, can you just check them? There's like 2 numbers, one on top of the other.
Minus 30. Now, any issues with that question? All right, let's go to the next one. This time, there's no distributing here. So, is this a same side situation or is this an opposite side? Hey, look here. Is this a same side situation or is it an opposite side situation?
Opposite.
Opposite side,
Opposite.
opposite operation. So I always want to start with the smaller number of x's. I want to see the step that says minus 2x each. A lot of people didn't show that step. If I don't see that step, I don't know that you're using the right strategy. And if you're using the wrong strategy, you're not going to get any points. If you make a sloppy mistake while using the right strategy, you'll lose a little bit of points, but you won't lose much. But you got to do the right strategy. 4x's minus 2x's is what?
2.
2x plus 8 equals, die. Danger, danger, danger. I saw at least one paper where they put 22 instead of negative 22. So at least one paper that did that. There might have been more. Okay. Next step. Undo the plus 8. Die. Negative 22 and negative 8 make? Negative 30. Dividing by 2. X is negative 15. Okay? Any questions on those? Listen, those are, if I was to give 4 levels or 5 levels of difficulty, this is a 3 or a 4 out of 5 levels of difficulty. And you are expected to be able to get this right consistently. The only way to make this any harder is really to start throwing fractions and decimals in there, which we'll get to over time. Yes?
It says 22 minus 8.
No, it doesn't. It says negative 22 and negative 8. It's very important that you get in that habit of peeking in front to see what kind of 22 and what kind of 8. So let me ask you a question. If you have $22 and $8, what do you have altogether? Good, so if I have 22 negatives and 8 more negatives, what do I have altogether? 30 negatives, okay? Yeah, it's very important you learn to think that way. If you do, it's pretty simple and straightforward. Okay, now the next question. Little forensic science stuff here. Talks about DNA. And it says that the probability of any two people having the same DNA is 1 in 10 trillion. And then it says to write that as a fraction. So, 1 in 10 trillion. To be honest with you, when I started this problem, I didn't know how many zeros were in a trillion. So I just started working backwards. That gets me to thousands. This gets me to what? Millions. This gets me to billions. This gets me to trillions, and it's 10. So it's 1 in 10 trillion.
I had it right.
Okay.
One over D.
Yeah, a lot of, why did people put D?
Because D is one.
Yeah,
I put
D
that too.
is one.
yeah.
I put that too.
But they.
That's
I
just the
meant to
probability of
make
the DNA.
I thought it meant like D
It's the
represents.
same.
No,
D
no,
represents
no.
it.
You're tripping.
Okay, next, excuse me. Next, I think it says to represent this denominator as a power of 10. So how many zeros? 3, 6, 9, 12, 13. So that's 10 to the 13 power. Boys. And then last but not least, it says express this as a negative exponent, which would be 10 to the negative 13, because the negative means 1 over or reciprocal. So the last step is 10 to the negative 13. It was pretty easy. Now, here's the deal. I think you messed it up because we didn't do anything like it in class. So I think that I had given you all of the necessary skills, which is why you think it's pretty easy. But I expected you to struggle because we had not done a question like this. But now that we have, I don't think it's a particularly hard question for tomorrow, okay? So tomorrow it might say 1 in 10 billion, it might say 1 in 15 trillion, it might say 1 in 7 trillion. I don't know what it's gonna say, but whatever it says, I think you should make it a point to be prepared for that tomorrow, okay? Any questions? All right, so now let's go to today's sheet and start working this out. We gotta learn how to solve for one variable in terms of the other variable. One variable in terms of the other. Now, how many people here are working on their relearn packets? Okay, I did send an email home to your parents this morning. Make sure that you are progressing on that. Next Thursday, they are due, and it's going to take you time to get them done. If you're in my Math Plus class, you are getting them done there. Otherwise, you need to be at extra help. If you don't go to the library, it's going to take at least 2 days of extra help. I'll be here Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you do go to the library, you could finish it off in one night at the library. That's possible. Okay?
On when?
Tuesday nights, 5:30 to 7:30 at the library. And it's Monday, Wednesday, Thursday here. All right, evaluate -5 to the 0. Who knows what that is? Go ahead. -1 is correct. That's a perfect answer. Anything to the 0 is 1, and then I have to negate it. So -1 is the correct answer. Next, express in scientific notation. Go ahead.
Would that be 2 times 10 to 8?
No, I like the 2 times. I like that. A lot of kids don't get that. A lot of kids think it's 5. You did a good job there. Max?
I got 2 times 10 to the negative 8.
Possibly. Let's see. It's either -8 or -6. Let me work it out. 5 goes into 1. It's going to make 0.2. And then I subtract exponents, and I get -7. Now, to move this into the right position, I need to multiply by 10. So here I need to divide by 10. So yes, I go down 1. 2 times 10 to the 8, -8 is correct. Nicely done. Okay, very nicely done. Let's go through it again. Ready? I got to do 1 divided by 5. This is not 5 divided by 1. It's 1 divided by 5. So 5 doesn't go into 1, bring up the mark. 5 goes into 10 twice, so it's 0.2, and that's where my 0.2 comes from. There was a point here, okay? Then I subtract exponents. 3 minus 10 is negative 7, or 3 and negative 10 is negative 7. Then I have to move the decimal to make it between 1 and 10. To move it to the right, I multiply, I don't divide. So I times by 10 to balance it out, I gotta divide by 10, okay? Which of the following is not, key word there, not equivalent to 1 over 25? Now, as I look at these choices, you'll notice that all of the choices have something about a negative exponent in there. Negative exponent means reciprocal. It means 1 over. So, when I look at this, I see 1 over 25, and I notice that that's 1 over 5 squared. Does that make sense? 25 is 5 squared. Are you with me here, Ishmael? Right? 1 over 25 is 1 over 5 squared. And a negative exponent means that's 5 to the negative 2. So in other words, I'm going to look at these choices and see which one is not equal to 5 to the negative 2. The rule is, since I'm multiplying in every one of these, I'm going to add exponents. Okay? What's 3 plus negative 5?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. So this is 5 to the negative 2. That works. That's good. The next one, 5 to the negative 1 times 5 to the negative 1. What's that one?
Negative 2.
5 to the negative 2. That's a good one, too. Next one, 5 to the negative 3 times 5 to the 1.
5 to the negative.
That's 5 to the negative 2 also. What about 5 to the negative 2 times 5 to the 4?
5 to the 2.
Positive 2, right? Because the bigger number is the 4. So that's 5 to the 2. That's not 5 to the negative 2. D is the one that's not equivalent. Okay? Any question on those? Okay. Now we go to number 3. And you know, I asked myself, how many of you guys, I looked at a couple of papers, and I didn't see these questions done. And there's no excuse for not having them done. See, the class is built, it's designed to constantly reinforce itself, to come back again and again and again and again and again and again and again to the same topics. And by seeing them and giving you every opportunity in the world to practice, you get smooth at it. You get comfortable with it. You get very, very good at it. I think the worst way to teach math in the world would be for me to teach you a topic, give you homework on it tonight, talk about that homework tomorrow, and then never touch the topic again until the test. I think there's no way the class is going to do well on it. So what I like to do is every day we do a few equations. From now for a couple of weeks. Every day we hit this stuff until we get to the point where you can get it right easily. Now, I just graded quizzes, and the highest grade on the quiz, 80 points of which were equations, the highest grade in the class was a 50. There were 2 50s in the class. Now, if that's the case, that to me means you need lots of practice on this. If everybody was getting out hundreds, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But everybody's getting 50 and less, which means you don't know what you're doing. So every opportunity that you have to get it right is an opportunity to improve yourself. You know, the difference between really successful kids and kids that are not so successful, if you expect somebody else to do all the work for you in anything in life, I don't care if it's the government, I don't care if it's your job, I don't care if it's school. If you expect others to do for you, you are not going to be a successful person. But if you take responsibility for your actions and for your effort and your work, you will be a successful person. If you look at your paper now, and these 3 questions are blank, and I haven't seen a paper yet with these 3 questions done on it.
I'm doing it right now, mister.
It's a little late. These questions needed to be done as soon as you were done with your do it. As soon as you're done with your quiz. Look, the class flows. Quiz, correct the quiz. Do it, correct the do it. Then we get into a short mini lesson. Take a look at this. Is this a same side situation or an opposite side situation?
Same side.
Same side. So I'm going to get my ends together, and I'm also going to get my numbers together. What's same side, same operation? What's 6 ends minus 1 end? Come on, 6 ends minus 1 end. What is
5
it?
ends.
5 ends. What's positive 9 and negative 4? Come on, positive 9, negative 4, what is it? Positive 5. And then equals negative 15. Now, once you get to this step, I graded a quiz of yours the other day. And on that quiz, you guys did fantastic. It was your best quiz of the year. Almost everybody got 100 on the quiz. And if you didn't get 100, it was like an 80 or a 90. Now, it was filled with equations like this. So we know you know how to do this. What you need to learn is how to get from the complicated and simplify it to the easy. One of the things you have to learn is same side, same operation, and how to do that. Minus 5, die, 5n, equals 15 negatives. Here we go, Stephen, ready? 15 negatives, 5 more negatives, what do I have?
20.
That's right, negative 20, then I divide by 5, and is negative 4. Okay? That's one of the skills you needed to know. Yes,
Where did you get the 5n from?
6n minus 1n.
Oh,
Okay, Chris? No. Now, next question. Is this a same side situation or an opposite side situation? Opposite side. Opposite side?
Opposite operation.
Opposite operation. Now, we always want to find the smaller number of h's. What's smaller, 7 or 3? 3. So I'm going to go minus 3h, die, 4h plus 1 equals negative 15. Now, this is, once I get to this point, I am like on cruise control. This is like, all right, we got it rocking. Remember how when you were a little kid and you learned how to ride a bike for the first time with no training wheels? And like the back would wobble in the beginning, but then you would find that balance point, and from that point forward, it was riding the bike was easy? Remember that? Okay. You're wobbling in the beginning right now. Is it same side? Is it opposite side? How do I put these things together? What do I do here? But once we get to this stage here, it should be really, really easy. That says plus 1, what do we do?
Subtract
Hey,
one.
minus 1. Now, this is just opposite side for numbers instead of letters. Die. 4h equals negative 16. Divide by 4. H equals negative 4. Mhm.
Tomorrow I'm not gonna be here because of a retreat. Do you have anything that we're gonna do in class?
Yeah, ask me at the end of class. Now, number or letter C. Distribute number outside package. What's 3 times 2x?
6x.
6x minus 9, because 3 times negative 3 is minus 9, equals 33. Again, from this point forward, this is easy. Add 9. 6x is 42. Divide by 6. X is 7. Now, you are looking at a huge part of your next test. Can you do A, B, C? If any one of those does not make sense to you, you need to be at extra help, not only for the relearn packet, but to learn how to do this. These are core skills. They will, without them, you cannot pass this class. You need to get good at this. Any questions? Okay, Chris, be lightning fast. Okay. Now, do the first question. It says 2x plus 1 equals 10. I want to change that. Let's make it 2x plus 1 equals 11. Go ahead. Do that first question. It better be easy for everybody.
That question only?
That question only. Keep going. 11 minus 1, right? Here's what you're forgetting to do, ready?
I think they all go one.
This is plus 1, minus. Then it tells you what to do. 11 by 9.
So
2x
plus
equals
eight equals
11 minus 1.
1 plus 1 equals
Go.
Why you said one? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay,
Mr. Frank, yeah, to make this as simple as possible, get out your easy. So I'm gonna show you the longest way.
nobody's going to bed. Go at lunch.
No. Go away.
Now, minus 1, die, 2x equals 10, divided by 2, x equals 5. That is unbelievably easy. I hope you all got it. Very routine, you've been doing it since 6th grade. I graded your quiz on it the other day. You guys were excellent. Okay. Now I want you to solve this one.
No, we can't. 11 plus 1.
Boy,
Don't you kind of look at this one and say to yourself, what?
What do we do?
I got it. Alright, so
Aren't they
there's
all-
too little information. I need more.
They are not all equal to 1.
But that makes no sense.
It's
All right.
like 37 because all those
Alright,
add
so
up.
M equals 13.
14, no. No. Look, first thing I want you to see is that the question says that you're supposed to solve for x. See, in the first question, it was assumed all along, since x was the only letter, that you had to make it say x equals at the end, and it was x equals 5. And I think everybody, when they saw that, said, oh, I know how to do this. I know where to start. I know what to do. I have a thought process. People look at this one and go, huh? Look, all you have to do is get the x by itself. When it says solve for x, that means get x by itself.
Just scribble out everything else.
Is the, no, you scribble out everything else. Is the x by itself yet?
No.
No. But
Minus B.
honestly, what I know is, I know this number happens to be 1, but if this was 2, what would you do?
I freak out.
If this said 2, what would you do? Minus 2. If it said 3, what would you do?
Minus 3.
If it said 27, what would you do? If it said B, what would you do?
Subtract B.
I
Yes,
suck.
right there.
So the first thing you do over here is minus B.
But why do I need this?
Well, why would I?
Oh, actually, this is really good. Hey, listen very carefully. Now, it should be pretty obvious to everybody in here that a positive B and a negative B make 0? Does that make sense? Everybody agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's y minus b?
Well, I don't know what y is. 6.
Ready? Hold it. It is y minus b. And then, just like you divided by 2 here, you divide by m there.
Get my grading point.
That's my answer.
Done!
We have 2 more days on this. So we will pick up at this point tomorrow and continue forward.
Calculate